Hey everyone, I'm Michelle. I'm a singer-songwriter, producer for film and TV, and I've had a lot of requests for information about how to build a studio in your house using a bedroom, mostly for beginners. So I want to take you into my studio, and I've been using this for several years now, and it works pretty well for me, and so hopefully it will work for you too. So let's go take a look. Okay, so here we are. This is just, of course, a normal house, bedroom. There's two rooms next to it. Dun, da, da, da. Whoops. This is one of my little guests. So when you come to the studio, you can see it's just I converted a basic bedroom into my studio. And one of the most important things you want to start out with is the control of sound reflection in the room. Now these rooms are not going to be soundproof. You could do a lot of work in them and in the insulation and with the doors and everything to try to get it more soundproof. But if you have a fairly quiet times and you can record, then you want to make sure you control the reflection of sound in the room. And the way you do that is by using these various foam traps that you can get from Musician's Friend or Sweetwater, any of those places. I did just some basic research on them, and these apparently absorb more sound, but I also have these bigger pyramid traps, and I just kind of space them around the room. I probably could use more, but this is what I did. I just hooked them up with nails. You can get tape to put them, and it does help to dampen the reflection of sound in the room. Things that you have to look out for as well: windows. I can pull down that shade easily. You also want to make sure that any instruments you have on the walls are covered up with a blanket or put them away in their cases, because that can reflect sound as well. And then look at the furniture that you're going to put in the room. I had a metal music stand over here, and I covered that with a towel. I have my keyboard, which I don't usually cover up. It doesn't really cause a problem. As far as my desk, I just have a cheap wood desk from Walmart and another desk from Target. Those don't really reflect all that much sound, and I always have stuff all over them, so it's going to absorb the sound anyway. One thing that I do have over here, this is a metal bookcase, and because it's got so much crap in it, it pretty much absorbs the sound. It doesn't reflect all that much. If I'm hearing extra stuff, then sometimes I'll get super paranoid, then I'll just go ahead and cover that with a blanket or something like that. Now, one of the biggest contributors to sound entering this room is this door. This door is not very soundproof. There's a lot of cracks. There's space underneath. So sound really does travel through that. And that's the next thing I'll probably work on, because you can get soundproofing for your doors. And I will include some links to where you can get this material pretty cheaply. And I will be investigating some things I can do with my door. For now, I put this little, not the hedgehog, it's a dog toy. This little thing that really, is supposed to design to keep cold air in or out. It helps a little bit. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but usually there's no one home when I'm recording. But sound does travel through these walls, so it's not quite as bad as it is through the door right there. Okay, also microphone. So when you're setting up your microphone, you want to make sure you have this Vox guard, pop filter, and then basic microphone that you don't have to spend a ton of money on to record your vocals. One thing else about sound, on the ceiling right above where I sing, I have these kinds of wedge traps here, which work really well on the ceiling to keep that from reflecting as well. All right, so let's go on with equipment. So when I started, I had this blue microphone here, and I still use that. I use that to record my instruments, guitar or ukulele, even though a pencil mic is usually much better for that, since I'm talking to the starving musician here, and I already had this mic. And actually this mic here I won in a contest, so I'm not going to spend money on another mic until I absolutely have to. So this one is actually still pretty good. But the mic is I just connect it to a simple professional low noise cable. One thing to note that if you don't have the right cable, then you can get noise coming from the signal from your mic. So this is a low noise. See if it'll focus. Cable, XLR. This green one came with this microphone. I cannot use that on this one because it is not low noise, and it will definitely give some interference. So that does not run through any kind of processor or preamp. It comes over, and I put it right into my Steinberg C1. It's a USB audio interface. I saw one on sale today for $57. Otherwise, they're around $134. And you can put 2 inputs. I have an input for my one mic number 2, and for my monitors. So mic 1 and 2, monitors. And then I have my headphones. And I have a splitter on my headphones so that if somebody wants to come in, then they can listen. We can hear each other. I occasionally will record other people. This connects USB-wise to the back of my iMac computer. iMac is really good. You can use Logic or GarageBand and or Pro Tools. I use Logic, and there's like no hard drive. It's really super slim. And on the back, it's got these USB ports. So I have enough. I've got one for my interface. I have one for my MIDI cable for my keyboard. I use this big Yeti mic for voiceovers and other things that I just plug in, and then also for my CD or DVD drive there. And you can get an adapter that has more USB ports if you have more things to plug in. So that is my simple setup for the mics into the interface, into the computer. The other thing that you want is a good pair of monitors. These are Genelec monitors, which are really, really good. I did win these in a contest. I probably wouldn't have bought them right off the bat until I had some more funds coming in, but you can get a pretty decent pair of monitors for a decent amount of money. They are on stands. Now these stands are metal, so I got these Orlex foam little wedges here to put my monitors on top so that it reduces any kind of sound or bounce from the monitors. What else? Oh, where you plug this stuff in the room. Yeah, I've got wires everywhere. I know everybody does. I found that I had to move the plugs around because when I had this outlet in one that was closer to the switch on the wall, that it caused some interference and buzzing on the line. So I had to move it. I put it in a surge protector, and then it was fine. So if you get that kind of buzzing, you just kind of want to check to see where you're plugging it into the room. You may have to move it or try to get a different surge protector. And if you have other computers in the room, usually I have my little laptop here, and obviously you have to have the cleaner because, you know, I eat and everything else in here. But I had to plug my laptop computer obviously in a separate outlet than I plug this recording computer because it did cause some interference. Other things you want to watch out for is your light source. So this light over here, I don't hear much buzzing or interference coming from that. This one I do. This light I turn off when I record. I just have it in here for some extra lighting because it gets dark. So if you hear things when you're hooked up to your mic and you're hearing things in your headphones, you know, check your lighting, turn off what you don't need at all to try to reduce that noise. Then let's see, heating and air conditioning. So I have one vent in here and I can hear, let's see if we can hear it. Not sure if you can hear it, but there's a little bit of noise in the room from the air conditioning and the heating. And sometimes it'll be picked up in the mic, sometimes not. So it gets really cold in here, and it gets really, in the winter, and it gets really hot in the summer. So I'll usually cooler heat the house as needed about an hour, 30 minutes before I come in, and then I'll turn it down so that it will turn off just to reduce as much noise as possible, especially if you're doing like a really intimate recording or something like that. Say hello to my little friend. Okay. That's pretty much it. If you have anything else on, I have a little speaker down here that sometimes I'll use on my keyboard. I just make sure that that's turned off. If I'm not using my keyboard, then obviously I want that to be turned off. And as far as hooking up your keyboard, this is a little MIDI interface device that I just hook USB to my computer, and then this signal gets translated into MIDI through my DAW. So very, very simple setup when it comes to that. So I don't think I'm missing anything else. Obviously, this is not like the massive professional quality of big time studios, but I've been doing this for a couple years. I've recorded some of my own stuff, and that music is being signed and used. So you can do this in a little bedroom in your house for minimal cost. All right, so thanks for joining my studio. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to questions, comments, and I will put a list of where you can get some of this material. And again, any input is fine. You know, this is my makeshift little studio. I built it myself, and anyone can do that and get started. It's not that hard. Thanks a lot, and talk to you later. Oh, and yes, I'm in my pajamas because, you know, if you record and you do this for a living at home, you can wear your pajamas all day and nobody's going to care. But it is close to bedtime, and, well, here we are. Anyway, thanks a lot. Bye.